Welcome in, you guys. Cowboy here. Today we're going to be going over my ranged Magplar for PvP. I do have two other builds on my channel, guys. If you're interested in Magplar and you're just trying to check out the different playstyles, do check those out before you decide on one. I have a very bursty setup out, which is going to be Mechanical Acuity and Farstrider. I have a very durable, very tanky, but still does a lot of damage setup. I call it my Brawlplar. And then lastly, we're putting out a ranged Magplar that has just really good everything, good burst, good consistent damage, really good survivability, really good sustain, kind of a jack of all trades, king of none, ace of none, whatever you want to, yeah, I really enjoy it, guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. And if you enjoy the content, please hit that sub button. It helps me out tremendously, costs you nothing, and hopefully it'll help you guys out too. Hopefully you guys will find some pretty cool builds. If you are already subbed, thank you guys very much for being here, being part of the crew. Genuinely, if there's anything you guys need, you want to see next, just let me know down below. I'm happy to make it happen. But balorgh, guys, we are rocking a balorgh two-piece on this set. Now, I love this setup, and I kind of hate it. It's got its pros, it's got its cons, right? Really big burst damage when you pop it, but slow build up. You need to kind of hoard your ult till you get 300 to really make this setup the most. Or you could 500 it and just absolutely dookie down somebody's throat. This is where a lot of our burst comes from, guys. If you wanted to run this set, or run this setup, I should say, for a more consistent build, you could swap this to Roxa to kind of have just infinite sustain, or you could swap this to one-piece trainee, and then you could swap out one of our rings and go with like a mythic like the Saints and Seducers or the Marklin. Are both two good options that I would go with. But I really like this how it is, and not everybody has mythics, not everybody has time for that. And balorgh, I think everybody already has, and these other two sets, I would also wager everybody has. So for the back bar, guys, we're taking Rally and Cry for our one-handed. Gotcha. We're also going to be taking Wretched Vitality for our shield. Now, we'll talk about weights and traits in a second. I just want to quickly go over what these sets do. So for Wretched Vitality, guys, if you're unfamiliar with the set, I don't think you can see it right there. There we go. If you're unfamiliar with the set, guys, while in combat, applying a major buff or debuff with a duration to a target grants you 260 magicka and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. While in combat, applying a minor debuff or buff with a duration to a target grants you 130 mag and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. We are able to proc both of these on our back bar. So we're going to come over here, get in combat, right? We're going to drop our rune, and we're going to hit our vigor. This applies major resolve and minor resolve with those two skills. And it's going to apply Wretched Vitality and Wretched Vitality. So we're getting a bunch of recovery from that. Just keep it up. Just make sure you guys don't let that fall off. Recast it every 15, 20 seconds. You'll be all right. For the Rallying Cry, guys, this one, you have to be in PvP to activate it. So I can't get you guys a tooltip with this on out here in this house, right? But without this proc, guys, I'm sitting about 7.5k spell damage when I'm buffed up, when I hit my ultimates with balorgh and such. This should push us to about 8k after scaling, of course. But phenomenal set, guys. Again, it's also a backbarred set because it procs, it lasts 20 seconds. You can then be on that front bar. Now our front bar, oh, and if you don't know, guys, just a quick reminder for anybody using Rallying Cry, the more people that are affected by this, the less potential, or the less effective this set has, I should say. So it's not bad to be in a group with a ton of people using it, but if you apply this buff, like you're in a ball group, like a tight ball group, this is going to be doing less and less and less per person that it hits. Just be aware of that. It's still a really good set, though, at the end of the day. And it's very important when we talk about the traits, guys. I'll go ahead and spoil this. We're using sturdy on all of our small pieces. Because we don't need impin, right? When we proc that Rallying Cry, which should have 100% uptime, we're going to be sitting at about 3k crit resist, which is really high. which means we can afford to take sturdy on all of our small pieces, which is really nice because that lets us perma block more on our sword and board bar. When we're getting pressured, of course. We're not just ranged Magplar guys. We're very survivable ranged Magplar. Anyways, for the front bar guys, we're taking a Masters Perfected Lightning Staff. I don't think you guys can see what it does here. I'll put it over here. Let's search it up. Masters Perfected Lightning. As you guys can see, it gives you 600 weapon and spell damage after using a destructive touch, shock clinch, whatever you want to call it. Really good for our front bar. This is kind of what I'm using in place of a mythic, because you could use like Marklin and get you like 300. I think, what is Marklin? Marklin's what, like 100? Mark. So it would be 200. Marklin would give us 200 weapon and spell. So this is giving us 600. Quite a bit more. We do lose the armor, which is kind of scuffed, but it's what it is. It's fine. And you could technically, if you guys want to do, you could go Marklin on like your ring here or something, and then you could rock one-piece trainee, like do a heavy trainee head, and do like a light rallying cry shoulder, whatever you want to do, and then do that Marklin ring. That is an alternative setup, or Saints and Seducer. Both work really well. But you'd have to do one of these sets on your front bar and one of these sets on your back bar at that point. I like back bar both of them because it's smooth, it works easy enough. I already hit this and vigor because it's 2 heal over times to proc my rallying cry because they have really high crit rates. Not really high, but you know what I mean. Frequent ticks, you're more likely going to get crit eventually with those two rather than like spamming Breath of Life or something, right? You just run out of mag. So I'm already hitting those anyways, you know what I mean, on that back bar. May as well just knock both sets off in one foul go, and then you're cooking with bacon grease. Now, quickly, traits, guys. Balorgh, heavy. That's your weight. Your trait is going to be infused. The chest, guys, we're going to take a heavy Wretched Vitality. It's going to be reinforced. You're going to want to take a medium minus heavy. Bad. Don't do this. Take a medium. Take sturdy. I'm just pouring transmuting keys. Take Rallying Cry gloves. These are a little expensive. Get them in sturdy if you can. I got these for like 3K. The belt is the most expensive. That's why mine is off trait. There's only like 4 in the entire marketplace. But sturdy as well. When you guys can trait change this to sturdy. But these can be really pricey, guys. Really pricey. Average is 100K right now. That's crazy. Wretched Vitality, guys. Heavy, because it's crafted, and then take infused on this. And then heavy boots, sturdy. The reason we take heavy head, heavy chest, heavy legs, and heavy boots, these give us the highest armor rating. Technically, you could do heavy shoulder as well. This isn't a loss, but you want the medium and light. So having a medium shoulder, you get it. You get the point. So for the jewelry, guys, bloodthirsty on everything. I have 2 arcane because I'm poor in trait gems, trait change stuff. Take bloodied or bloodthirsty everything. Infused is also really good if you just want to do consistent damage, but bloodthirsty makes it really hard for people to get out of execute, and that's very important when you're doing like 2vx kind of stuff. Being able to hit a ranged execute and just absolutely decimate your target is probably one of the highest value things you'll do for your team, because being ranged, you're not going to get bashed unless they crushing shock you. People can't dodge roll your beam, and it hits for a ridiculous amount of damage. Also, I should add this, guys. If you don't know how dots work in this game, if I had full bloodthirsty on, I've just applied this dot to this guy at 100% health, right? That dot tick should not increase at all. The lower his health gets should remain the same. That is a sticky dot. It snapshots at what it is. Radiant Destruction scales every single tick. See how it's getting a little bit higher? Even though we're not in execute, that scaling per tick is because it's checking the HP threshold and recalculating every single tick. So if you beam somebody, you're going to get the extra execute damage already from this scaling, but it's not snapshotting. So if you beam somebody at 40% health, it's not snapshotting that extra bloodthirsty damage at 40% health. It's going to recalculate every tick. So the lower that they get, each tick you're forcing them down, it's going to hit harder and harder and harder. You don't have to recast it, which is just Radiant Glory is just overpowered, guys. Jesus Beam forever and always will be OP. This is the trump card of Templar, honestly. Anyways, that's all that is, guys. Just Bloodthirsty everything's my go-to. You could also take Infused, it's just as good. You could also just keep Arcane. This will give you a ton more healing. Now for the Masters Perfected, guys, Perfected it's not needed, but it's better, so get Perfected if you can. I like Sharpened. I also like Infused for this. Infused would give us 100% uptime on that weapon and spell damage, and it would also make it like 420, I think, actually, weapon spell damage, which is pretty kosher because all of our pin is coming from balorgh. We could also take the pin Mundus if we wanted to. But, I feel like there's no point in trading the spell damage Mundus for an infused front bar to go with the pin. That's just weird. Just do whatever you want to do. It's not that serious. Back bar, take defending and take sturdy. This is going to give you reduced block cost, and then it's also just going to make you tankier. Enchant doesn't really matter. Did I even enchant this? Okay, cool. It's got max mag. That's cool. Good. Thank you, Saru, for helping me out with that. And yeah, that's it for skills. Or that's it for the gear. Let's go into skills real quick. Front bar, guys. Javelin. This is pretty cool. This ignores enemy resistances. Can't be blocked. Does more damage the further you are away from the target. And this thing absolutely punts players into Narnia. They go miles away when you hit this. So my favorite way to use this skill, guys, if you get a battleground map where you can knock people off into insta-kill, out of bounds kind of thing, or into like environmental damage, this is a fun skill to use. It's the only thing I enjoy about ranged Magplar. Again, it also can't be blocked, so ideally what you guys want to do, ignore my ult here. You guys need to have Meteor. I just simply do not have Mage's Guild, and I'm going to go back to my Brawlplar build when I'm done making Templar videos. So I have no need for this. I'm going to use Crescent on Brawlplar because I like the AoE cleave and how fast I can continuously ult. It's called 70 ult. I can just pump them out, and whenever there's an opportunity to kill somebody, I always have it. With this, you force your opportunity to kill somebody. You're going to hit him with a meteor. Okay, pretend this Power of the Light here is my meteor. Let's say I casted it now, right? It's coming down, You're going to hit that javelin right as your meteor lands, and what's going to happen is people block for meteor, right? Javelin can't be blocked, remember? Javelin cannot be blocked. So you're gonna hit them with the wombo combo. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Right? They block it. They take spear damage and meteor damage. The best thing that they can do is dodge roll it, in which case you just follow it up with a Radiant Destruction because they're going to be stunned by the meteor and take tons of damage. Now you do always want to time this with your Power of the Light. So what you want to do is put your Power of the Light at the target always whenever you're fighting somebody. This is going to give them that's a little debuff, as you can see right there. When we first apply it, you get 3 seconds of, I forget what it's called, Minor Breach, I think is what it's called. And then again, when it pops, you get another 3 seconds of Minor Breach. It also increases our weapon and spell damage by like, I think 100. Yeah, 100, which is pretty nice. So Power of the Light, again, 100% uptime on this, guys. This ability does so much. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to just kind of keep damaging them, recast that, hit your spamable, which we'll talk about in a second. And then when they get low health and they're about to pop, hit them with the Jesus Beam. You could also hit them with, like, okay, say they get low health and you're about to pop on this, hit them with the spear and then follow up with the Radiant. That way they're CC'd and you're beaming. If they get up and try to dodge roll, they're doubly screwed. Easy peasy. That's the combo, guys. Now, I will talk to you guys about the other skills really quick. So we've covered on Javelin, that's your CC. We've covered on this, which provides a bunch of your burst damage. Radiant Glory is your execute. I take the one that gives mag back and heals us. Sustain is kind of important in PvP, so that's really why I like this the most. Also, having heals while we're trying to execute somebody is pretty important, because oftentimes when you hyper-focus on somebody else's health and getting it down, you negate your own, which this helps aid mistakes, I will say. Next up, guys, Shock Reach. This is a nice little damage over time, but we're mostly using it. Remember that Masters Inferno, or Masters Lightning we have? We're using this before we hit ults. So what that'll look like, you know, say you're all buffed up, whatever, you're gonna hit your thing, you're gonna keep that active every 4 seconds, you're gonna go ult, right, make sure you hit your thing, just keep weaving it, power of the light, hit that, let it go, just let it ride, just keep refreshing those two. Now again, lastly, I want to touch on this one last because this is a scribed ability, guys. Fiery Soul, it's the soul magic, it's like the first scribing skill we get. You're gonna take the fire script here. I can just show you guys at the scribe altar what I have if you want to see if you have them. We take the fiery though, guys, because the fiery, there's a lot of vampires in PvP. Oh, whatever. Fire, class mastery, breach. That's the setup that we have. We take the fire because there's a lot of vampires, right? Vampires take like 15-20% extra flame damage, so your spammable will be hitting 20% harder against some players. You could also go, if you didn't want to do the flame damage, you could also go like disease damage, because that could apply defile, which is always nice. It's going to reduce their healing. But again, I just prefer the flame. You always want to have your signature script for this ability be your class mastery, because this is going to give us roughly 2k armor and 300 weapon spell, which is really good. Now, if you're confused about what the sacred ground means, let me just quickly enlighten you. That little thing right there, that rune, triggers this passive. Excuse me. Sacred ground, as does the big AoE circle. So if you're in one of these, or you've been in it in the last 4 seconds, you're going to get that 50% extra effectiveness. You need to go to Willed Soul. You're going to get that 50% extra effectiveness on that that class script right there, which is too good on Templar. That's why that's part of our spam. And then lastly, I don't have a breach source on this build. We're not using Elisus. If somebody in your team is using a breach source, you can swap this out to like really anything. Personally, I would swap it. I don't have the affix on this character. Go with the Major Defile is probably the grossest thing you could put on that, and then that way you're debuffing healing by 12%, as well as putting a lot of pressure on people. This is a very aggressive build, especially if you have a team with you. That is very mean. But yeah. That's the last skill for our front bar. And again, guys, for that ultimate, do not take... You could take Eye of Lightning if you're doing like a tower ball group kind of thing, like a tower farm for resources. But personally, I would just take Meteor, because again, you can force a kill every 20-30 seconds with your Meteor. And it's not like my other build where we're limited in that 8 to 10 second window when we hit that ult to kill somebody, and if we don't, we have to just go defensive. This build, you can still play very aggressive. The ult is just icing on the cake. For that back bar, guys, we gotta wrap this up because we're almost at 20 minutes. I talk way too much. Extended Ritual. I just want to make sure I'm giving you guys a good understanding of the build, right? I can hand you a build, and if you don't know how to utilize it, you don't know the ins and outs and the whats and whys, you're going to be playing this like an absolute noob, just no clue what to do. anyways, extended rituals, guys. This is our purify, really good heal over time. Us and the team, lets the team synergize. All the dots off of them. You need to keep this down 100% of the time, and it doesn't hurt to recast it because usually you're going to be pulling stuff off of you as well when you do that, up to 5 harmful effects. So again, keep this up 100% of the time. It's going to help you get that extra 150 weapon spell, extra 1.3k armor from your class mastery script. Resolving vigor, guys. Again, this procs our rallying cry. I guess all 3 of these. Well, rally, vigor, and channel focus will proc our wretched vitality. But all 3 of these, extended ritual, resolving, honor the dead, living dark, our whole back bar basically can proc rallying cry. So that's pretty kosher. Anyways, vigor, keep it up when you're getting pressed really hard. Even if you just have the heavy attack and vigor, and then every 5 seconds you need to keep refreshing that, because that is a really nice heal over time effect. You don't want to let that fall off when you're getting pushed on. Honor the Dead is our burst heal. I like to throw this out to support other players. Heals about 10k per cast. Even in PvP, for some reason, I healed Wiccan the other day with it for like 10k while he was getting bullied by 2 dudes, or she. I don't know. Sorry if you're a she, Wiccan. I assumed when you said wife that you were a dude. Anyways, that got weird for a second. It refunds its cost. Pretty nice. Pretty good. I don't know what else to tell you guys, but just use it. This is your burst heal, all right? When you're low health, use this, top off. Use this to heal your homies. Living Dark, keep it up 100% of the time. It can be up to like 4k healing per second, because it can proc twice in a second. Really dank ability. It's probably one of my favorite heals in the game. 10 out of 10, love the skill. And then Channel Focus, guys. You can take either morph of this. If you're having stam issues, like 1vx, 2vx, you can't keep up with the perma block as well, you can take the stam morph of this, and that will give you stam back as well as increase the amount of healing done. I like to be really aggressive when I play, and so I take the mag morph. That way I can be a lot more aggressive on my front bar with all these pretty, not all of them, but some of these are relatively expensive, and I guess really just javelin, but I like to CC people. I like to try to knock them off of maps or towers and kill them with fall damage and radiant destruction. But that's my bad. That's my toxic doing. Don't be like me. Do as I say, not as I do. You can take the stand morph. You'll have good luck when you have to perma block situations, because you'll have the decreased block cost from all of our traits being sturdy on our small pieces. Ignore these 2 not being sturdy. I'm poor in transmutes. Anyways, reduce block cost, and then again having stand back lets you perma block. And then whenever you run out of stam, if you're getting pressed really hard still, guys, spell wall, hit it, heavy attack nonstop, heavy attack, breath of life, heavy attack, breath of life, heavy attack, breath of life. You'll be topped off, you'll be full stam by the time this runs out, and you'll be ready to perma block again until you have another one of these back. Yay, it's a vicious cycle. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I need to tell you guys. Skills. Mundus, we take the Apprentice. Again, I think I already said why. We have a passive that increases spell damage over weapon damage, so always increase spell damage. Or you could take the Pin passive if you wanted more consistent damage. I think the Pin passive is also really good, because we kind of lack in Pin. 5k is not that great. I guess it technically goes up to about 15k when you apply the major and minor breach, but still not enough to deal with somebody like cap resources, and I'd try to be prepared for all contingencies. So the Lover or the Apprentice would be your 2 Mundus options. Let's see. In terms of race, guys, I do really enjoy the Nord for this ult with balorgh. Ult gen is king. Resistances, PvP, necessity. And then again, max health. Nobody really cares about frost resistance. That can go suck a duck. It's all right. I would. The other class I'd probably go for this, or not class, I mean raise. I would consider Breton or Orc. I think Orc, like, if I'm doing a recap on the build, and in my experience, if you watch the intro, I struggle with speed and mobility. Now, if you guys wanted to rock, like, if you were to find a way to put in, like, a race against time or something like that into your build, you could totally do that. Take off something down here, slot race against time. You need the mobility. You could also just purify anytime somebody hits you with a snare, but that gets really expensive, and we kind of lack mobility, which is why I think Orc would be a really good option, because that's going to increase your sprint speed. But I'm going to work on that for my future builds and try to keep a little bit more mobile, because I think speed. I'm used to like small scale, like 4vx kind of thing, where we kind of kite a small area and we all build very tanky, and we all build like supporting each other, and we all just kind of ult dump same time. I feel like with the kind of Xing that I'm doing now, which is mostly solo or with like 1 or 2 other people, you have to have high mobility for it, and that's something I gotta learn how to factor that into my builds going forward. But take that with a grain of salt. Do whatever you want to do with that. Let's talk about really quickly CP. Now, I haven't put any in. I was PvPing all day without CP in a CP campaign. Not that I have a bunch of CP guys. I'm like 700, maybe 800 CP at this point, but still. Let's go ahead and talk about what I would take if I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Which is honestly, I think we're going to focus on tankiness, because this build could use a little bit more of that. I would take Ironclad, which is going to give us reduced direct damage taken. I would take Duelist Rebuff, because when people hard focus us, we want to take another 6% less damage, giving us about 12% mitigation from that. I would come over here, obviously take Piercing. We don't have Elisus or a lot of status fix we're applying ourselves. So if you're playing with somebody who does Force of Nature, 100% is the way to go. Slot that. That's going to be pretty clutch. But like I said, if you're soloing, that's not doing you any favors. Make sure you guys, I'm not going to do it because I don't have enough CP, but make sure you guys pick up War Mage, Flawless Ritual, Battle Mastery, and Mighty. These help out a ton. Trust. Exploiter won't do us any good because we're not setting anybody off balance. So I would honestly probably take just raw stat, Wrathful Strikes, and then I don't love any of those. Anything down here that would be super useful? I would take Last Stand. If you watch the intro clip, go back and do that if you want. You can see I constantly bob out of the 20% health stress threshold. Like, just Breath of Life bumps me up, and then I'm just right back down when I'm dealing with a lot of 1vx. And I struggled a lot with stamina in my experience in the 1vx type stuff, and the 2vx. I think this would be really good because, again, struggling with stam sucks. If you get CC at the wrong time, you're done. You have to make sure you heavy attack before your CC immunity runs off, which can be really hard if you have a lot of incoming damage. You need to perma block. So the Last Stand would help us with that because we would be able to shield ult more and get more heavies off to help manage that. So I think Last Stand would probably be the best possible CP outcome that I could take there. I don't have enough to put that in now, but you guys get the point. That should be, so Ironclad, Duelist rebuff, Wrathful Strikes, and then you're going to take Last Stand. Now for this skill tree, this is a pretty easy one for me. I always recommend starting at Tumbling. I can't do anything without Expert Evasion because this helps so much with your stamina management, especially kiting, guys. Slippery, you're throwing if you're not using Slippery. That is why my stamina management was so bad when we were 2vxing. Oh my gosh. Guys, why are you watching my build video? Please comment below. Let me know down below if you've made it this far into the video because I have tremendously embarrassed myself. Yesterday went really well. I PvP'd for like 45 minutes with Wicca Witch, I think their name was. Had a great time. I really enjoyed that. But I was struggling. I was fighting for my life on Stam. And these two perks right here, I assumed that I had in, and I don't know how I didn't realize I did, or it didn't. But these would have made so much of a difference. I could have been so much more offensive instead of just heavy attacking for my life. Man, I feel stupid after that. You could also take Rejuve. Is really good if you're still having sustain issues. I probably won't though. I will probably go with... This is going to be weird. Because I just got done talking about how important mobility is. But what if we went Bracing Anchor? That's weird, but that might be fire. Honestly, that might be what's up. We're going to give that a shot. If you guys want to play it safe, I haven't tested. I'm giving you unsolicited advice at this point. I haven't tested this. Probably don't take Bracing Anchor. This is probably me throwing. But I would recommend you take Pain's Refuge for your third. And then Fortified for your fourth. That would put you at like armor cap or resistance cap. Or you could also just say, because if you're really good about your purifies, I'm terrible about my purifies. I let like 20 effects get on me. I'm terrible at hitting purify, guys. Pain's Refuge is clutch for me because that's 20% damage mitigation for something I'm already doing by accident because I'm garbage at Templar. But if you're really good at purifies, don't take this. Here, let me show you guys. I'll show you guys. That way we don't trip anybody out here. Take this setup. So Rejuve is going to give you tons more sustain, right? So we have Expert Evasion, helps our stand pull. We can dodge roll, dodge a bunch of attacks whenever we need to. Free every 30 seconds. Slippery, 1 out of 3 CC breaks are now free. Phenomenal. Buy 2, get 1 free. Who doesn't love a almost BOGO? Free regen. And then again here, guys, Fortified is going to give us a ton of free armor. Bippity boppity boop. We're at resource or resistance cap now. Just like that. I'm going to max this out as well. Because anything we can do to get that block cost reduction down, huge. All right, that's what you're looking at, guys. Okay, so just a recap. Keep this video under 35 minutes. Last Stand for this one: Wrathful Strikes, Duelist rebuff, Ironclad, Fortified, Rejuve, Slippery, and Expert Evasion. If you need to do the green tree, I'm not going to put it in because I'm trying to keep this video short, and it's not. Soul Reservoir, Breakfall, Wanderer, Steadfast, Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, and then just go up from there until you get Warm Out. This will help you if you do a lot of Cyrodiil, not get kinked off your horse. And there you go. GG's, guys. Again, if you enjoy the content, please, oh my gosh, please hit that subscribe button. It helps me out tremendously. I'm sorry, I will stop punching my microphone. New videos every Friday, and I'll be doing DKs next, guys. Expect a Bomb Templar pretty soon. I'm probably gonna be running a Bomb Templar that's gonna be like Backbar Dark Convergence. Dark Converge. All right, and so the theory here I'm going with when I'm crafting this thing, theory crafting, we're going to dark convergence with a, what is it called? I don't know what the flip it's called now. Nova, whatever the Nova morph is, that, yeah, solar prism, right? That's going to let another person in our small scale bomb ball group hit that synergy. They're going to do a ton of damage with that synergy, stun everybody, and I'm going to run Star Venom. Wasn't coming to me. Star Venom, guys. And that way, I'm just basically a debuff bot, but trust, alright? I'm going to get you guys some clips with it. We're going to cook.